Hello, welcome to Soccer Yanks, a soccer news day podcast. I'm your host, Dave.
And I am Dan, and we are here to bring you the beautiful game from the American perspective.
From our view.
And what a perspective it is. Let's get right into the nitty-gritty. It's Thursday night. We've seen two Champions League semi-final legs. Both of them had a team come out on a defensive side. One proved to be defensive tactically with a concept, and the other was just what do you say? How do you call it? Not playing soccer. Mourinho came out and brought Chelsea, and he basically said, "What happens if we stand around for 90 minutes and just, don't do anything?" And he proved that you can settle a game 0-0 that way.
He's done it before, though. It's nothing new.
No, I know, but you think he would come out. He would come out at them.
Someone who has such a bravado about being the best and the most genius. If being the most genius is putting people to sleep, I don't know what being a genius is worth if you want to play at the highest level at a spectacle.
I mean,
you want to be a Champions League coach. The best way to be a Champions League coach is like total.
He could probably get a job on Vegas, and he could literally lull an entire audience to sleep, like it's like a magic trick. He did it 55,000 people at Vicente Calderon.
Like
Boom.
the end of Burt Wonderstone?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Atletico came out, I think their team came out believing that Chelsea would attack them because Villa was on the bench and Costa came out by himself. So I think Simeone already set up the team thinking, all right, Chelsea's going to come at me. So I'm going to be just a little bit more defensive, even more of a counter-attacking team than I usually am. And then Mourinho said, "Oh, I'll do one better for you. I'm going to never attack." So the game became very dull because both teams were kind of set up defensively and not fast-paced counter. So
yeah, there's nowhere to be exposed. Everyone's standing.
I mean, if anything, I would say that Madrid really pushed. I mean, I think they pushed at one point a little bit, not really pushed, but they pushed more than Chelsea. I think also knowing that you want to try to at least get a goal at home. But we went zeros, and now Mourinho goes back to the fort, back to Stamford Bridge, where he's only lost twice in his entire tenure.
Yeah, but goals count for double for
that's correct.
Madrid.
So if Atleti can pop one in, Chelsea's got to score two.
They have to.
And I heard this stat earlier today. Mourinho has been, I believe, I don't know if it was with Chelsea.
Didn't he just lose this past weekend?
Yes, we'll talk about that too.
So
but that's his second loss of all time there, though. But in semi-final matches, I'm not sure if it was with Real Madrid and Chelsea. I think it was actually with all the Chelsea matches that he's had in semi-finals of the Champions League. They've only scored one goal. I think they've been in 5 or 4. They've been in 5 matches. That's right. The sixth one will be coming up. So he's been in 5 matches. And his Chelsea team has only scored 1 goal in the semis.
Will they all go to penalties?
I don't even know. I mean, he didn't win the Champions League before with Chelsea. So
true.
So I don't know if he even advanced to a final with Chelsea. I believe no. I think he lost probably in the semis each time.
I'm not too confident to answer that.
I wash away that period of my life when Chelsea was first brought in. When Chelsea actually rose from the ashes and became a big club. The other match, and there's a lot of criticism here for both clubs. Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. Real Madrid wins 1-0. I believe was it at home? Yes, it was at home. It was at home. It was at Bernabeu. Wow, went blank.
Santiago Bernabeu.
And the criticisms are as such. Bayern Munich. Tons of possession. No creativity. We're in second gear the whole time.
Put you to sleep.
It's not. The thing is they did everything so well. I mean, they won the ball in Madrid's half. They pressed really hard. They got the ball. But when they got the ball, the transition to attack was just like, blah. They were nervous, I think, maybe to commit men forward. And it just seemed like Robin playing with the ball on the right wing the entire game. And then pass back to the middle, then Robin. And Robin was the only one that was ever trying to get in there. Ribéry didn't look like the Ribéry that we know.
Do you think it's because they've had the league locked up for so long that this is really it's hard to switch on now?
No, I don't think so. I think that Pep Guardiola believes that his system, probability-wise, will win more matches than lose. And I think when his system comes up a team that is very, and this is the difference, like I had mentioned before, Real Madrid tactically came out very organized, very disciplined, and very, very opportunistic. So it wasn't as
they had one of the best poachers in the world too up front.
They didn't. I think they conceded. They knew. I mean, look. This is the thing. What kind of hubris would you have that you go up against? Okay, Bayern Munich. They're going to be able to take the ball off of me in possession quickly. If I commit too many men forward, they're gonna punish me. What kind of egomaniac are you to say, well, I'm going to still do it. I'm going to still press forward. I'm still going to put everybody going. No. Ancelotti, I think, conceded. Bayern Munich is a better, technically gifted team, at least in this system, the system that they're playing in. I'm going to set up this way. I'm going to set up very, very organized, very tight. And when we do transition, we go fast. And we try to get on the counter. And they did. And you know what? To be honest with you, Real Madrid was just not good on the final ball because they should have won 3-0. At least 2-0. At least 2-0. Ronaldo gets that ball, 9 times out of 10, he's going to nail it.
Apparently he was pretty injured for this game.
Well, was he stomach bug or still injured? Or stomach bug was Bale, right?
I think his leg.
No, Bale was on the bench. I don't know. There's
something like that. Anyway, they won. That was an unbelievable pass that he started. He started the play that scored it, though. He passed up to Contrao. Contrao crossed a Meg cross through Dante, right onto his foot onto Benzema. I mean, calm as you like.
I mean, I don't think there's any argument that Bayern Munich was the superior team that on the day. They were on the ball. Real Madrid couldn't do anything in possession. They had a very tough time in possession. But what is the point of having the bulk of possession if it's pointless?
Yeah, you can't finish.
It wasn't even just finish. You watch them and they're just standing there because they see the Real Madrid defense is just like two walls.
Beckenbauer said it again today. Guardiola is going to turn them into unwatchable like Barca was. It's starting to happen.
I mean, Pep even said, we never get out of second gear, and he criticized his team a little bit, saying, when we did take the ball, when we did get into possession in a good position, we didn't transition fast enough. Yeah. We needed to take advantage of those, and they were very happy to take the ball and just pass it back. So
that's what they do. They pass it back. Whoever's open, usually the person behind them.
I think both these matches are still wide open, though.
Yeah, anything can happen.
I don't think that we have anybody that's. I mean, I think you give Real Madrid you give them a slight advantage. 51%, 49%, 52%, 48%, something like that. I don't think the second leg is there's anybody that's really an underdog here at this point. In other
UEFA news?
In semi-related UEFA news, is it Michael or is it Michele or Michele? Michel, maybe? I don't know.
Platini, Platini fella.
Platini, president of UEFA. He basically came out with a little smirk and a little grin, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we'll give out the results in the beginning of May of our findings on financial fair play and the 70+ clubs I think that are probably outside of the boundaries.
The ones whose checks haven't cleared yet.
Exactly. Basically. And then but he was very clear. He was very, very clear. Oh no, but they're all going to play in the European tournaments. Don't worry. No one's going to get ousted. And it just
What's the point of the rules?
He's like no. You got they're going to get sanctioned. There's going to be like hefty penalties
eventually.
Well, no, but think about this: a hefty penalty. The whole point is that these guys have bottomless pits of money, and it's financially not fair. So you're going to...
The only way to punish these people is to sanction them with the transfers to prevent them from having a superior product to sink their money into.
You either stop the transfers or you don't let them play in the big tournaments so they get no exposure. Or players don't want to play for them.
You black out them on TV. Or you...
Whatever.
Well, you got to do something that's going to put a dent in them.
I don't think...
No crowd.
But I think it has to go not on the financial side.
No, it
has to go on the ego. It has to go on the playing field.
Development side.
Yes.
You have to be... If you're cheating the system to be superior on paper, the penalty should make you weaker on paper.
Right.
I guess we're in agreement on that one.
No, I think so. And in other FIFA has let us down news, Barcelona's ban has been lifted, at least temporarily. So their transfer ban is open. They're in the appeal process.
UEFA FC Barcelona?
Something along those lines. UEFA Lona. They
That's a good one.
So they're back on the market again. They're able to sign players in the meantime.
Ter Stegen's going.
I've heard that the summer one maybe will still hold up.
I saw a doozy today right away. Messi's going to Real Madrid.
Oh my God!
The most absurd
fish
and chip paper thing I've ever heard.
Do you know
in my
how
life.
many Catalonians will jump off buildings?
I'm sure you'd have Madrid fans leave.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, sorry, that was just an off-the-wall thing, so I had to throw in there.
Moving back to the Isle ruled by the Queen. Back in the Premier League.
Mourinho.
Born Mourinho, man.
Buckled Bridge.
Oh, Stamford Bridge is falling down.
Oh my God, I have never heard of that version before in my life. That's awesome. We never grew up in the UK. It's probably been on schoolyards for years.
So Sunderland... Jeez. So Sunderland, with perhaps maybe a very fortunate penalty call.
They always play spoiler at the end of the year, though.
Isn't that funny?
They always get them. Get somebody.
I got a couple of things here. So Sunderland got a really penalty. Really, Josie Altidore stepped on someone and slipped.
It happens.
Josie Altidore may now single-handedly have handed Liverpool the title. MVP.
And they say Americans aren't impacting the English game.
Yeah. He's done nothing all season except for give Liverpool the title.
By Americans.
All right. So the match was. Chelsea looks bad without Hazard. He's injured. There's something. They're a little missing going forward.
And I'm sure he's saving him. He wants to get healthy for the World Cup too.
Yeah,
that has a lot to do with it.
You think so? I mean, I keep hearing this for all these players that are like holding back.
I think a lot of them are. It's the Think of how lucrative it is for them personally, individually. Each Fellaini, I think he's holding back too. Hazard.
He's not holding back elbows.
No, but his wrist is. Wrist is holding him back. Suarez is going all out. I don't think he's holding back. Sterling, I think, is playing for a position.
Yeah,
that's why he's doing so good.
I mean, I think we're giving way too much credit. I think maybe guys that are in contract years or coming up to their last year of their contract, I think they can look at the World Cup as a potential a showcase, right? A showcase. But I think guys like Luis Suarez, everybody knows Luis Suarez. What he's going to do at the World Cup is not going to matter. I guess that's why he's playing the way he's playing, right? There's other guys that Wayne Rooney is not going to get a bigger contract anywhere in the world.
No.
Why does he suck?
Pressure.
Well, I guess whatever. But what I'm getting at is
losing all that hair again.
But it's not about the World Cup, is what I'm getting. Yeah. $30,000 last summer.
Another $100K a week for that hair to keep it in.
That's what it is. That's why they gave him the extra $100K a week
for aerodynamics.
So it's an interesting theory. But hold on, we totally got away from what I want to talk about.
There was a stream of consciousness.
Jose Mourinho. At the end of the match, he has his press conference and he says, I'm sorry, I'm not going to speak to you guys today, but I have some things. I have a few points that will cover all your questions. And he's like, point number one. When your team loses, sometimes managers come out here and they say the things bad that their team did. Today, I want to congratulate my team. They did everything very well. It just was not enough, but I can't blame them for their efforts. Okay. Number two, Sunderland played excellent today. They deserved the 3 points. They did very well, blah, 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 blah. Number 3, the referees he's like, sometimes we don't mention referees, and they have unbelievable matches. Today, I would like to thank Mike Dean. He had an unbelievable match. I'd also like to thank the head of the referee association. He's been having an unbelievable season. He's like, it's even more unbelievable how they officiate the matches against the title contenders. He basically is saying, he's accusing, in his own little way, of Mike Dean being a Liverpool man. And I believe Dean is from that area. Now, that was really whiny from Mourinho.
It was very good, though. That's very veiled.
Very veiled.
Very English.
Very veiled.
Very English.
But let me ask you something. When Mike Dean screws everybody, he screws everybody. I mean, he screwed Arsenal. He screwed City. He screwed a lot of teams. You know, Mourinho's the first one to say, stop whining about the ref. I don't know. I just feel like the guy is just so... He's just sucked everything that's good out of the game. I know we like him because we keep talking about him because of the drama, but it's not...
It's a sideshow.
It's a sideshow. It's, drama is one thing, right?
But the writers love him. That's why they wanted him back.
Of course, because something to
It's
talk about every
write
week.
about every day.
Every week.
That's why the writers loved him
We
in
talk about him.
Spain.
We talked about him twice
That's why
already.
The writers loved him in Italy. The writers love him in America. So do the podcasters. It's a lightning rod. Can't help it.
The only way he'll not be a lightning. The only way we could stop it is by not talking about him, right? Not going to do it.
Palin?
Not going to do it.
Got rid of Sarah Palin, didn't it?
Yeah, we stopped talking about her. She's gone.
Shh.
The NSA is listening right now. Liverpool won. Chelsea lost. Now Liverpool's 5 points clear. Now Chelsea's got Liverpool on the weekend. 5 points clear. Even if Liverpool loses.
Palace and then Newcastle. Palace away and then Newcastle.
Let's see. City's on 74 points with a game in hand. So let's just say they win their game in hand. They'll be at 77.
I don't think City's... I don't,
Even if they win
the injuries,
even if they win their game in hand, they still need Liverpool to drop another match.
I don't think that's going to happen.
They need to drop Chelsea and another match.
They're going to have Liverpool home. That's not going to... Or Newcastle is going to be going to Anfield. Palace are resurgent. I don't think.
But I think they'll be I think they'll be so secure in the middle of the table that it won't matter
for them.
For them, so they won't care. Although it would be lovely for them to say we could stop their title hopes.
We could, yeah.
That would be
spoiler. Would be something to play for, and that would be very Pulis.
Yes,
that would be very Pulis.
The Eye of Sauron.
Fixed on Anfield.
No, but I think Chelsea dropping points this weekend almost 99%, 98% sealed the deal for Liverpool.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Other big news this week.
How the hell size?
How the hell what?
Ugh.
Come on, say it, man. Just say it, man.
No, I was looking at the championship. Sorry, I'm looking at championship tables on the side. It's exciting. I'm excited.
Way to focus on the podcast.
Sorry.
I know why you're talking about championship tables. Because I'm going to bring up Manchester United.
Yeah, I'm thinking about players I want to pick from Derby.
You just don't want to talk about the question.
What question?
So the Grim Reaper was hanging out at Goodison Park. Did you see that? It was a Paddy Power advertisement. They had a Grim Reaper.
Was that from that game? I thought that was a file photo. I didn't know that. That's ironic.
Well, I mean,
he got fired after.
Let me tell you.
Did you know?
Yes,
David Moyes got sacked. We didn't mention it.
Yeah, we didn't mention it.
David Moyes got sacked.
Whoops.
He's not a manager at Manchester United anymore.
Earlier in the season, I talked about a Shakespearean tragedy with Arsene Wenger possibly, getting ousted from Arsenal from, having such a awful kind of downward spiral. Let me tell you, Shakespearean tragedy, David Moyes. The guy never had a chance.
Did you see his picture from when he was like a young footballer? He never had a chance since then. We're gonna post it on the link.
You don't look like Skeletor for nothing. They lost to Everton, his former club, 2-0. He didn't even find out. Everyone else at the club knew. He came to work the next day. Everyone knew. The papers already knew, and he's like, "What? Huh?"
So poetic. after an Everton. Isn't it?
You know what's funny? He got sacked and everyone knew, and it's exactly like his season. He was doing awful and everybody knew.
Okay, well, here, I got some numbers for you. Okay, lowest Premier League points tally in club history. Never finished below third in the Premier League until now. First 13 times, second 5 times,
Whoa.
third
in the Premier League.
Premier League. 3 defeats in a row for the first time since 2001. 11 Premier League defeats in a season. First home defeat to Swansea. First home defeat to Newcastle since 1972. West Brom since 78. First defeat Stoke since 84. Everton 92. That's crazy. First time City, Everton, and Liverpool had a double over and United in one Premier League season. Same Premier League season. First time United had conceded a first-minute goal in the Premier League. First defeat on New Year's Day. That's not really a big deal. Knocked out of the FA Cup in the third round. Only happened once under Ferguson. His record matches against Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Everton, and Chelsea this season. Played 12, won 1, draw 3, lost 8, 5 goals scored, 22 goals conceded. Good riddance.
But I'm going to miss him so much.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. It was an experience. It was like you're driving in a Rolls Royce all across the United States. You make a pit stop out some fucking shithole in New Mexico and you get raped for 20 minutes. Then you got to get back into the Rolls Royce.
No offense to New Mexico. There's probably great places there.
There's a lot of nice people, but I'm sure there's the Hills Have Eyes kind of places too out there. There's a lot of nuclear test sites.
Roswell.
Yeah. It's been a rough season. Shock to the system for, I think, any club. I mean, if that happened to you, if that happened to anyone at Chelsea, any top half team.
Standard operating procedure for Tottenham.
Yeah, I gotta admit, those records are being broken all the time. But yeah, no, that's not. Those aren't Manchester United numbers, and his the way his reactions were going into certain situations, his responses, like he said, "Oh yeah, he'd be fine taking a point going into Cardiff. Be fine taking a point going into Cardiff." You'd be fucking furious taking a point going into Cardiff as Manchester United, coming in as the champions of England. That's not an attitude to take going in.
No, that's the problem. Defeatist. He was defeatist.
So he was complacent already.
Now
he's a mid-table complacent.
Well, we just got to do good enough.
Yeah.
We just got to do good enough. I think part of it was, I think there was a contingent probably that said you got to give him a little bit more time. He's got to grow. He's got to understand the club. He doesn't understand it enough. He doesn't understand what we need here.
Burner's too hot.
Well, yes, and also I think also his handling of the summer transfer window. They kind of said, we're going to give him how much money?
They chased after a man who never was going to come back. Cesc Fabregas was never coming back. He chased after him for 2.5 months. You could have got Ozil.
You know what would have been really funny? If later we find out that Cesc Fabregas was like, I was just fucking with him. He's like, I was never going to come back to United, but I just kept telling him I was.
You got rejected hotline. He kept giving him, you have been rejected. Anyway.
So I think maybe on top of the fact of all, the plethora of things that you just mentioned, I think also they started going, and we can't give him any more money. We can't give him any more money to spend. Let's pay him whatever we have to owe him, pay him to get him out of this contract, and let's move on.
Yeah. Especially with all the big contracts that they have signed in the last 2 years sponsorship-wise.
Well, I mean, the big news over the last couple of days has been the stock price.
Went up. 5%.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Went up. So, I guess now the next big question is, Who's coming in?
Well, for the interim, it's Giggs.
Watch your wives. I can't wait.
He knows the handle of scandal.
I can't wait. Cleverly, give me 10 pushes. 10 push-ups and the keys to your house. Your girlfriend's going to get it tonight.
Him and Welbeck have been rumored. They want out now. Who knows? I don't know who's coming in. The money on most of the bookies over in Europe, and my money is on Gaal. I've heard Ricard, Simeone, Juventus. What's Conte?
Now there is a contingent that says this is going to be the end of an era, and not in the sense of the whole David Moyes era or Ferguson. It's going to be the end of an era because a a lot of people are considering a foreign manager to take over United, and it's going to be the first one. If you count Scotsman, if you count all the Great Britain as a whole versus Scotland, Wales,
I got you.
It's going to be a true continental.
It's an international affair. So be it. It's a global market. It's a global team. What are you going to do? If it's good for the team, right now, out of all the available candidates, I mean, Pep and Klopp, obviously, I would love those two, but they're not going anywhere. Van Gaal has a history of developing youth systems, youth talent, promoting youth talent, and playing youth talent. I think that's how Manchester of the last 20 years has been the Manchester of the last 20 years. They've added people. Don't get me wrong, but the core, from 92, 93 class on, they've developed talent, but not much after that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a once in a lifetime kind of thing. How much talent they put together
that was insane
at one time. Because they haven't really developed that much. They haven't produced that much talent, at least for themselves. I'm not saying that they don't produce players that they don't sell off, but they haven't produced talent for themselves as in that fashion in a while.
Because
Welbeck is a talent, right?
Cleverly, I think Fletcher came up. Well, he was supposed to, but this is the problem. He's never had an opportunity. I think if he had the confidence, the opportunity, Pogba, Bravo Morrison.
Well, you blame Fergie for that one.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. And given the attitude and the situation and the type of coach that he was and the history he has, that's an Alex Ferguson move.
Right.
And that's what made him great. And I think Van Gaal has that kind of brash ego like SAF had, that he can handle that kind of heat. And he can go into Cardiff and say, fuck yeah, we're going to score 5. What are you kidding me? A point?
But do you think a Dutchman will bode well in the Premier League as a manager? I mean, I'm not saying he's at the first, but they don't know. It's not always hunky dory.
Scotsmen were very well liked in the 70s and the 80s in the English media either.
That's true.
They're not. They weren't respected until Ferguson,
and now they're not respected again because of Moyes.
Thank you. But Van Gaal, I really think Van Gaal, through what he did in Ajax, especially Bayern, what they have now, arguably he created a lot of that youth talent. He completely changed Schweinsteiger. He was a left winger, turned him into a central midfielder, turned his superstar career.
I would say Van Gaal, his fingerprints are still on the Bayern team.
Yeah, and he gave the starts, the debuts for Xavi, Puyol, Valdez, Iniesta. Their first team starts were under him. He gave, because after they were so ragged, they were out of the cup. They got knocked out of the Champions League. They had no real superstars at the time. This was before the Ronaldinho came in.
Yeah. No, but he's got less of a. Okay, yes,
he didn't develop them, but he gave them their chance. Yes, and he said, "Here, you have it. You do it." And he did. And look who they are. I mean, they went on to become the core of the La Roja Toros. Spain, what they did for their country.
Absolutely.
So
Van Gaal,
my money's on Van Gaal.
I think I have to agree with you because I don't know. To be honest, I don't see. I mean, I hear other names, but I don't see these other names moving.
And if he comes in, I don't think Robin van Persie has a better friend in soccer.
Well, Wayne Rooney is screwed.
I don't know.
I don't think Wayne Rooney is going to get preferential treatment just because he's earning $300K a week.
I don't think Rooney's going to be the number 9. I think Rooney's going to be a false 9, the position that SAF was trying to turn him into anyway. When that system worked when they won the championship. I think Kagawa is going to be the odd man out. Mata, what's going to happen? I think maybe it'll be a triangle or a diamond, kind of like what Liverpool does. But they're not real pure strikers, Kagawa and Mata. So it wouldn't really work as well. More they'd set back, but still, it remains to be seen. Van Gaal hasn't even been signed yet, but I think if there's anybody who's going to turn the key and shift gear for RVP, because he's definitely in a funk. He's not happy.
Now, let me ask you a question. Van Gaal's got a World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say the Netherlands go deep in the World Cup. His contract is up. Let's just say, whatever, just for argument's sake, it's never going to happen. The Dutch win the World Cup. Now he's now doesn't pick up doesn't pick up with Manchester United for, let's say, a few days after. Let's just say he's a workaholic. He's not even going to take a week. And now it's July 17th, 18th, and he's picking up with United. Is that enough time?
Maybe he's doing it right now.
You think he's focusing on both United and... I mean, I guess it's possible.
There was pictures in the stand last week with RVP at the Feyenoord Ajax game in the crowd. You know, who knows? Maybe they were talking about the Netherlands team, you know, scouting and whatnot. But we could speculate.
Moving on. Well, yeah. We'll come back because every day they add a new name to the list or take a name off.
Yeah, we just heard before we came down here. It's not even worth mentioning.
I want to talk to you about Manchester City, and I believe, and it may be my own bias, but maybe you prove me wrong or right, that Manchester City, they've been facing quite a bit of injuries, and their form looks to be pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question. Would you argue that Manchester City has a thin squad? No. But they haven't lost, now looks like Silva, Torre, although Torre may be on the way back. Aguero's been in and out. They've sustained injuries to three major players.
Yeah.
Their form seems pretty miserable.
At the moment.
Media saying, oh, shucks, bad luck.
Yeah.
What a shame. Same thing happened to Arsenal. And it's not, oh, that's bad luck, what a shame. It's, you guys are thin. It's the same difference.
Yeah, but I think the only difference is this is kind of, it's kind of an isolated incident with City in this situation. It happens to Arsenal every year. It's the same story at the same time of month, you know?
But it's not. That's the truth. This year, that is not the same. It is not the same story.
They're getting better now, though. They're healing now.
Before it was one key injury and there was no replacement. Robin Van Persie got hurt. There is no replacement.
No.
Now it was 4 injuries at the same time. 4 main injuries at the same time.
But then your replacements got injured. Ox went down for a couple weeks.
Yes.
Then...
Yeah, but it was the midfield was their deepest spot, so we did have plenty of cover.
Yeah,
just wasn't.
Brzezinski came in very big.
Right. It's just that it wasn't as dynamic as our best 4. 4 guys out of your starting 11 come out.
What is it? Diaby all season. Wilshere.
Walcott.
Ramsey started awesome. Got injured. Walcott since the beginning, really.
Walcott had an abdominal issue. He missed then. He came back for 5 games, scored 5 goals. Then he blew his ACL.
That was against Tottenham, right?
Yeah, the 2-0, the little incident when he was on the stretcher.
Someone threw something at him or something.
But what I'm getting at is I just feel like everyone just loves to throw. Like I think it's gotten to the point where because it's such old hat, they don't even think anymore, and they just go, "Oh, there we go. Their medical staff is awful. Their doctors are awful. They're thin. They don't, you know what I mean?" And it just drives me nuts because it's the old adage over and over again. It's not, no thought is put into it.
Yeah, but it's still happening though.
It's happened. It's not still happening. It's a different. I'm telling you, it's a different kind of circumstance. In the previous years, I would argue that yes, we were thin. I don't think we didn't lose anybody over the summer, and we added. We added.
You have definitely added, but those people that you've added have still gotten injured. That's the problem.
Okay, but that's the circumstance. I mean, how do you prevent an ACL injury? How was Theo Walcott overworked?
Hover.
Right? Okay.
Fly.
Jack Wilshere broke a bone in a friendly with England in his foot. How do you prevent broken bones?
Fly.
You know what I mean? Okay, the hamstrings. I think the hamstrings is where you have some arguments about a little bit more rotation. At the same time, you take a few of those. You can't take all of them. Whatever. I guess I am biased.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Everybody gets injured. Some more than others. Some are more prepared. It's not as a frequent occurrence with City. That's why they're not going straight to that. It's easy to go, like you said.
But their title hopes are probably shot now.
For City?
Yeah, because of it.
Well, I think because of that. Liverpool's ridiculous.
Well, when they dropped points to Sunderland, that was it. Because they had no Yaya that game. When they dropped points to Sunderland, that was pretty much it.
You know who's been a really big liability this year, and you never would have thought it going into it? Company. Between his injuries, not really his fault, but his yellows and reds, He's been doing some pretty bonehead stuff this year, and that's cost him, I think, a lot too.
Absolutely.
Because they had to been DeMichelis and Lescott and what's the other guy?
Have they been putting Javi Martinez back there too? No,
the Croatian fella, not the Croatian. Is he Serbian or Croatian? I don't know. That's horrible to mix those two up. I shouldn't.
Oh, Nastasic.
Nazic. Yes. Not really been playing too much, but when your best, powerhouse, iconic central defender is doing things like that, he's supposed to be your captain, your rock. I think that's cost him. Anyway, Torre being out, that's going to be very hard. Silva has been their most creative player the last 6 games. Him being out is going to be really, really hard to find a different catalyst. So it just makes it easier for Liverpool, that's for sure.
Speaking of Liverpudlians, the shortlist for Player of the Year came out.
Yeah,
and I think this is the betting man's order: Luis Suarez, Steven Gerrard, Yaya Toure, Daniel Sturridge, Eden Hazard, Adam Lallana. Now, three Liverpool players.
Yeah.
Suarez, Gerrard, Sturridge.
Yeah, they're the top 3 leading goal scorers in
now,
the EPL as well.
Actually, this is voted on by
top 4. Suarez with 30, Sturridge with 20, Gerrard 13, Sterling with 9, and then Coutinho is 6th with 5.
Take away Gerrard's PKs, he drops big time.
Goal, dude.
I understand, but it's in
assists.
When you're looking at
assists,
Suarez is number 1.
Suarez number 1 with 12. Gerrard number 2 with 10. Ugh.
Let me ask you a question though. All right, I have a lot of questions. This is voted on by the players and all of the FA. So there's a lot of Englishmen. I mean, I have personal issues with individual awards in a team sport such as soccer. Because you even showed in what you just said there, right? You were talking about these guys are scoring goals and they're assisting each other. Now, can you take Luis Suarez out of this picture and Liverpool still do what they did? I would argue that not that Luis Suarez is replaceable, but I could argue that at least they would be pretty proficient with another striker, an average, above average striker.
I'm gonna make it up with an American stat. We'll call it points, as scoring points.
Okay.
In the sense of hockey, assists and goals.
Okay.
A created chance, a scoring chance.
Mm-hmm.
So Suarez would have 12 assists and 30 goals, 42 points. Sturridge, 20 goals and 7 assists, 27 points. Gerrard, 10 assists, 20 goals, 30 points. It's pretty intense.
No, I understand. What I'm getting at is, though, when you start pulling away the pieces, right? Obviously, Liverpool is in contention. Liverpool is in contention to win a title. That is an award handed to the best team, right? That's the real award.
Best teams usually have the best players, though.
I understand, but how do you pick out when you have a system, when you have 11 players that are supposed to be working together? How do you give an individual award? It's the same argument with Player of the Year. When Barcelona won everything, but Messi didn't do anything outstanding statistically, he still won Player of the Year. And then the following year, when he scored 100 goals in a season, but Barcelona didn't win anything, they gave it to him because he wanted to score 100 goals. So what I'm getting at is, I'm not saying that Luis Suarez is not Player of the Year, or that Steven Gerrard is not Player of the Year, or Daniel Sturridge can't. I'm not saying that these guys can't be competing, but I feel that it's way too difficult I feel like the award is kind of like, take it with a grain of salt. Because don't forget that the guys are also in a system that they're benefiting from. Maybe Brendan Rodgers deserves the award because he's setting these guys up to succeed.
I don't know. I think being the best player on the best team means something.
But what's the best player on the best team? Is it just the guy that scores the most goals? What about a defender?
Well, according to the writers.
But that's what I'm getting at.
It's
I think Mignolet's not getting much. The
team's great
credit, but Mignolet's had an outstanding season.
Yeah, but 42 total offensive points, pretty dang good.
Yeah, but don't
when
forget,
you're the leading goal scorer, you're automatically off the top of the bat, you're automatically in
But
top
that's what
contention.
So really, we should just give the award to the leading goal scorer.
Yeah, but then would you say assists would be
a
big more important, a big part too? Because in this case, Luis Suarez leads in assists too.
Well, I'm going to give you a stat that's not tracked. Second assist.
Person who starts it.
Yeah. How about like a deep lying playmaker that sees the first pass that sets up the cross.
Well, then in that case, it would be the number 2 who has 10, which would be Gerrard on this team because he's a deep lying playmaker.
But he's not. But that's not second assist. That stat. What I'm getting at is you're comparing goal scoring and assists, but this is soccer. You know very well that it's not one guy.
No, but in the EPL and in the modern game, goals are what is sexy. Goals are what tune people in. Goals are what sells newspapers. Goals are what get YouTube hits. Goals are why we talk about it.
Okay, so then really we should have goal scorer of the year.
Well, that's what the Golden Boot is.
No, that's the guy that scores the most.
Yeah.
So it could be a poacher, but people don't like poachers. Goal scorer or assist and goal scorer of the year, because this is not. Because to be honest with you, I think Yaya Toure is the player of the year because he's carried City, and you could see when he is not there, they play differently.
Yeah, but I don't know. To me, watching Suarez play, he does everything.
But that's not what I'm arguing. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm arguing about But can Liverpool succeed without Luis Suarez?
That's MVP you're talking about.
Well, that's what is this? What is this Player of the Year award then?
Best player in the EPL.
Okay, so you're telling me that Luis Suarez is hands down the best player in the EPL?
This year, I think it's hard to argue against it. I think it is. You might think Yaya Toure is fine. I think this year, Luis Suarez.
I think Yaya Toure's contribution on the field, what he does, that's not statistically, that's not a statistic that's heavy. His drawing of a defender, his breaking up of plays, his natural movement off the ball.
Hold up, his vision,
all that stuff
everything.
That's not calculated. So what I'm getting at is individual awards in soccer in particular suck. They don't really gauge we're going after what's sexy, or we're going after what causes the most drama. I get it. I understand. I'm not taking anything away from Luis Suarez because I think Luis Suarez is an outstanding goal scorer. I would love him to be on any one of the team. I would love him to be on my team. Mm-hmm. He's an amazing goal scorer. He's a scumbag of a human being. Maybe actually he's a great human being.
He's probably a really great guy.
He's a great human being.
Bite.
He's a cheating son of a bitch, but an amazing goal scorer.
He swims in his spare time.
But I just think it's bullshit. I just think the whole award system is bullshit.
Right now, Luis Suarez just helped an old lady cross the street.
Yeah,
and made her dinner.
I've actually heard he's a really, really nice guy.
You want some green tea? It's a special green tea from my country. It's really good.
I'm going to bring up another point because this is voted on by players, right? In all of the Football Association. I don't think that Steven Gerrard belongs in this list. And I think there's an emotional factor because he might win his first Premier League title. And I also think, this is going to sound crazy, there's a nationalistic run here.
No, an English bias in the EPL?
Exactly, right? Exactly. Don't forget don't forget the majority. There's still a lot of English players in the game.
Yeah.
Now, Suarez. Some people have short memory in the media, but players may not have a very short memory of what Luis Suarez has meant for the league the last couple of years. Okay, this year he's kind of cleaned up, but they don't. A lot of people still don't like the man for what he does on the field.
He's doing his talk on his boots, though.
I understand that. But they may also say, you know what? I'm going to give it to his teammate that I think is much more well-deserving, that has played and been a upstanding player. I don't think I did that in air quotes because I don't think so. But a more respected Englishman, and I think he's gotten onto this list because of that. And I don't know if it's going to be. I don't think there's enough power behind that to knock Suarez off his perch. But it would be really interesting.
I don't think that's going to happen.
If Gerrard wins the Player of the Year over Suarez.
I don't think that's going to happen. Suarez is going to get it. This is a deadlock.
Let's talk about the other. Let's talk about the other individual award I don't give a shit about. Young Player of the Year shortlist: Eden Hazard, Daniel Sturridge, Raheem Sterling.
Sterling's getting it Sorry.
Ross Barkley, Aaron Ramsey, by far the best player on this list. Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw is the best player on this list?
Aaron Ramsey, by far. If he wasn't injured, that would be the number one guy on this list. By far.
Sterling's getting it.
He's been very impressive, and he's played wherever Rodgers puts him.
Tell me your unbiased opinion about Ramsey.
My unbiased opinion about Ramsey? He's the best player on that list.
Okay.
That's my professional opinion. You want to hear my biased opinion?
No,
you want to hear my biased opinion?
No, our ears.
No, Dave.
That.
You should
don't deserve that.
Here's my biased opinion. If Ramsey never got hurt, Ramsey would have been Player of the Year. Period.
All right, you did it.
Period.
You did it,
dude.
Wait, we have a pop filter. Do that one more time.
Period.
Okay.
Listen. Everyone's got short memory. You know how much. This is going to sound very vulgar. You know how much dick riding there was on Aaron Ramsey at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I know. We had a jar of Vaseline here for you.
Yeah, for you, because I was giving it to you.
No. You were jumping on us.
Yeah. I was giving it to you every week with David Moyes sucking it up. Listen, injuries suck, and everyone has short memory. But he was amazing.
He was awesome the first
and he came
month
back
and a
this
half.
week.
But those 6 weeks, he was amazing.
Was it 6 weeks, my friend? It was not 6 weeks.
It was from September to mid-October,
12 weeks.
When did he
First
get
3
injured?
months. Boxing Day. Come on, yo. Don't mess with me, yo.
All the podcasts leading up to that. What did I say?
Player of the Year.
Oh, I said he wasn't going to make it. His legs were going to explode.
You never said that.
We're going back. Or
You
you're going back. The burden of proof isn't on me. I said it.
No.
I said it.
You can't make wild claims. The sky is green. You go prove it now, Dave.
No, the burden of proof isn't on me. I said it on the podcast. I said his legs were going to explode.
The
by
burden
end
of
the
proof is on the guy that says wild claims.
But I said it. You don't remember it.
You
said it.
You said it the day his leg blew up. You're like, I told you.
All right.
You ran it back. You ran it back.
All of our people who are still listening to us who just turned everything off. Go. You remember.
Yeah, they remember. They're like, Dave has no idea what he's saying. He definitely said Aaron Ramsey was the best player of the year.
No, he was great. I said he was great, and his legs were going to explode before the end of the year.
Well, we did. All right, let's really talk about Young Player of the Year. Because Aaron Ramsey's not going to win it because he hasn't done enough.
I didn't even know he was young. How old is he?
He's 22 or 20. Maybe he's on the cusp. 23 and under is the Young Player of the Year. Hazard, his contribution is being noticed now that Chelsea doesn't have him.
Yeah, he was the best. Him and Shirley were the best players of the year for them.
I don't know why Sturridge doesn't get. Sturridge has been a very big part for the Liverpool team, but he doesn't seem. It seems like you love Luis Suarez, and Sturridge is good, but then like Sterling gets everyone like all hopped up because he's like this young, fast, pacey kid. You know, he talks back to Brendan Rodgers. You ever watch Being Liverpool or whatever the hell that
Jobby on the first play and
awful?
Back. Yeah.
He's like, steady.
Yeah.
Don't tell me steady. You became Forrest Gump all of a sudden. So, I don't know. I think Sturridge doesn't get enough credit sometimes also for his... you know what it is? It's that stupid, arrogant dance of his. Everyone hates it.
We're not going to... yeah. It's going to Sterling.
I think so. Sterling's probably got it.
What do we got?
What do we got?
The table, it's staying the same. Liverpool's winning. It's
no, I think it's gonna swap. It's gonna be Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and then let the bodies lay where they are after that.
I don't think you're sealed up yet, my friend. Roberto Martinez has got a couple more games left.
Yeah, so does Arsenal.
I know.
So does everybody else. Arsenal's gonna win. Arsenal's gonna win. They're gonna finish in fourth. They're gonna win anything.
Yep, Your hairline just receded about a millimeter. Stressing out about those 3 games.
I'm not stressing out. I'm fine.
I'm kidding.
I'm fine. You know who should be stressing out? Norwich.
Norwich toast. That's a buzzsaw of the last couple games they got.
Let's see here.
And I think this weekend, United have a lot to prove. They I don't know. You think Giggs is going to sub himself on as a striker? Get his last goal?
I think he officially retired when he took the interim manager job.
Yeah.
I think that's
I don't think he's got enough. He can't do enough yoga to center his mind to be able to do both.
Someone actually told me that Giggs is going to be the next manager, and I was like,
Long term?
yeah, and I said, absolutely not.
He would be a coach.
He needs more experience.
Him and Scholes would be coaches. I think those people are coming back though. I think that those core players. I think Neville's going to come back and start coaching.
Mickey Butt is an assistant now.
Yep. I think that whole.
Phil Neville's already there. You think Gary Neville's going to come back?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think he wants to be more? He wants to be more out of the spotlight.
I think he's growing tired of talking about United on TV. I think it's that much in him that he's going to want to be a part of it and be like, I can't take this anymore. And then the cape is going to come off.
What, and bondage is underneath? Like, what is his love?
No. He's just into, turning teams around. No, I don't think that's going to happen. But I think he's going to join in as a coach eventually, long term.
Do you think so? I think he likes the limelight of being a pundit way more. I think he likes pretending to be not biased. Also, I think he loves being in the media and like affecting the hearts and minds of millions of people. And
he does great analysis.
No, I'm not saying he doesn't, but he does. He does also. He is subjective a lot. The English media loves subjective guys. It's fun. It's entertaining. But like he does it in such a way because he does provide some great analysis when it's not about United, that when he does talk about United, you go, is he bullshitting me? Or is he putting spin on it? Or is this real? And I think he puts a little. And I think he gets off on that, affecting the hearts and minds of millions of people that way.
For now, but I think long term.
Maybe he gets bored.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wants to be back as close to the pitch as possible.
Yeah. It's not fun in a studio, I think, for soccer players, some of them. Speaking of which, personal plea, we don't have much left, right?
No.
Fox, please stop with Eric Winalda and Gus Johnson for the Champions League. I watch on mute and I can't take it anymore. What's wrong with Martin Tyler and Alan Smith doing too? Can't you pay him for two? Come on.
You know when you stream it on the Fox To Go app?
It's somebody else?
It's not them.
What?
It's the English feed.
Well, I'm doing that.
I think. I don't know. I listen to it low at work.
Please. If you want to write for us, please send us an email, socceryanks@gmail.com. Follow me at socceryankdave.
That's on the Twitter.
On the Twitter.
At socceryankdan. There's no tricky spelling or spaces or anything. At socceryanks also, to learn about all of the things that we do outside of just podcasts. Socceryanks.com.
Yeah, we got some MLS content. Some other writers like to contribute some good quality stuff. Check us out.
Oh yeah, and like our Facebook page. I want to try to crack 100 before the World Cup. We're almost there. We need like 11 more likes. Just give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, it's not asking for much.
Just give me a like.
Just a thumb.
Just a thumbs up.
Sneak a thumb in there.
Yeah, just like United all year.